Find a comfortable place lying down. Get cozy, cozy, cozy. Make sure you have your BALL and your brick close by. Jack has one of Wally's balls.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was what I was starting to do.
That's what I just got up to do.
I just want you to know I was standing in the middle of the ground over here saying, what am I here for?
It's almost over, Sherry.
Huh?
It's almost over.
I
Yeah.
just got up to do that, and you're.
Okay. Lying down. Slow down the breath and deepen it. Lots of prana in the air today. Take it in with each inhale. Let it circulate through your body. Exhale and relax. Continue the deep, slow, luxurious breathing. Taking in the fresh sea air. Feel the rise and the fall of the chest. Feel the way that the ribs expand all the way around your body on the inhale and contract inwards on the exhale. Just like a bellows. Draw the attention to the belly and see if you can feel the rise and the fall of the belly. Link the three body parts together. Your choice if when you inhale you want to start with the lungs downwards to the belly or from the belly upwards to the chest, I mean. It's all lungs. On the exhale, of course, you travel in the other direction. Take your ball, bend the knees, place the feet behind the sitting bones. So for those who are watching this on video, you'll need a tennis ball, and if for some reason you don't have a tennis ball, because you didn't know you were supposed to bring one, you can use a block. Go ahead and put it right at the crease between your legs, right at the crease. And squeeze the tennis ball. You might have to hold it there. It's kind of round. squeeze the tennis ball with the insides of the two legs right at the pelvic floor. And then release. And squeeze it and feel more pressure in the middle lower back right around the lumbar curve as it kind of presses down towards the ground. And then as you release it, allow the lumbar curve to just slightly lift away from the ground if it doesn't already. Pressing into the ball and releasing it. Pressing into the ball and releasing it. Press in and hold it. Have a sense that your tailbone and your pubic bone are drawing towards each other, and the sitting bones are drawing towards each other, all at the center, right at your pelvic floor, just above the tennis ball. And then see if you can wrap the muscles around your lower abdomen, front, sides, and back, all inwards towards the spine. And then again, wrap the muscles around the navel, around the front, the sides, and the back, and then around the ribs, front, sides, and back. And try to hold it and still breathe. And then release everything for a moment and just remove your tennis ball. And let's complete some regular pelvic rocks without the tennis ball. So drawing the tailbone towards the ground and lifting the lumbar curve away from the ground. Lifting the tailbone away from the ground and lowering the lumbar curve towards the ground. Rocking along the pelvis from tailbone to waist and from waist to tailbone. Since I have so many of you here today, let's do a little pelvic clock. So just keep rocking your pelvis right now from tailbone to waist, and pause at your tailbone so that the waist or the lumbar curve is lifting up a little bit away from the ground. And that will be your 12 o'clock. Rock down so that your lumbar curve is pressing into the ground, lifting the tailbone off the ground. That will be your 6 o'clock. So go ahead and rock to 12 o'clock and back to 6 o'clock and to 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and pause in the middle. Now you're just going to put more pressure on the left hip, rolling or rocking over to the left side. That will be your 9 o'clock. The right side is just a tiny bit off of the ground. And then rock over to your right side. And of course it depends on the structure of your sacrum and your hips. So perhaps more than a tiny bit is lifting up off the ground, and maybe you're not even lifting up off the ground. But more weight is on the right side at 3 o'clock. So rock across to 9 o'clock, and then across to 3 o'clock. And it's just side to side from hip to hip. 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then to the center. Now we're going to rock around the clock. So rock to 12, which is the tailbone, and rock around the outside of your clock to 3 o'clock. And for some people that's going to be easy, and for some people it's going to be confusing and challenging, but if you can't make it happen, just imagine that it's happening. If it looks more like a straight line than a round around the clock, it's okay. Just aim for the rounded feeling. Go from 3 around to 6. So now your lumbar curve is pressing towards the ground. And then go around back to 3, the same way that you came in reverse, and then up to 12. And then from 12 around to 3 and around to 6. And then around to 9 and around to 3, up round to 12, pardon me, up to 12. So we've just done a hole around the clock. Now we'll go counterclockwise from 12 around to 9 and then around to 6 and around to 3 and around up to 12 again. Roll to the center. Now you're in the center of the clock and you're flat on your sacrum. Go across to 9 and around down to 6. Go up through center to 12. Around to 3. Across through center to 9, all the way across your center of your clock, and around up to 12, down to 6 through the center, around to 3, around to 12, around to 9, across through center to 3, around to 6, and to 9, and from 9 around to 6, around to 3, across the center to 9, across back to 3. Here we are kind of doing a little bit of windshield wipers. One more time to 9. And to center, down to 6, through center up to 12, to center and relax. Find your feet are stable on the ground. And begin to peel your spine off the ground into a bridge. It can be any height that you want. And if for some reason it hurts your back to lift up into a bridge, imagine that you're doing it without actually doing it. Aim your toes slightly towards each other and slowly round down. Relax. Lift up again into a bridge, bringing the arms overhead onto the ground behind you. If you happen to have a blanket under your head that you don't need, you can remove it. So flowing with the arms, moving at the same rate as the pelvis. Lifting up, bringing the arms overhead. Coming down, bringing the arms alongside the body. Inhale and lift up into a bridge. Exhale and come down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Extend the legs long on the ground. Bring the arms overhead as much as you're able to. If you've got shoulder issues that prevent your arms from coming all the way overhead, then just do the best you can, imagining the rest of it. And walk both feet over to the right side edge of the mat if they will go that far, trying to keep the toes touching, the ankles touching, and then bring both arms and consequently the shoulders and the head over to the right as well. So you're in a side bend. We kind of do the same thing when we're standing, only the legs don't go over because we fall over. And what we're looking for here is to try to keep the left shoulder on the ground. So only go over as far as you can go to keeping the left shoulder on the ground. And then just look at your ribs. Do you feel like your ribs are popping way up to the sky in order to make this pose happen? Which mine are. If you feel that way, contract the muscles around the front of the ribs just a little bit to kind of firm them up, support them in the back body. And then bring your arms to center and your legs to center. Pause. And walk both feet over to the left side as much as is going to work for your body, keeping both hips on the ground. And then the same thing with the arms and the shoulders. Over to the right, a lot or a little, depending on what your structure is. Always trying to keep your, in this case, right shoulder, right back shoulder on the ground. And again, if you feel like you're hyper-arched in your middle back, around the rib area, contract the muscles in the front of the ribs to bring the back ribs a little bit closer to the ground. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to touch. And for some people, that's not an issue at all. Walk the hands and the feet to center and bring the arms down alongside the body. Bend the knees again, placing the feet on the ground behind the sitting bones. Bring one knee at a time towards the chest. Have your arms right alongside your body still, and bring both knees over to the right a third of the way. Not very far. And pause. Try to soften your neck. As you hang out here, the legs start to get a little bit heavy and the core muscles start to kick in, especially around the ribs. Bring the knees up through center and over to the right side. So this is level 1. And up to center. So before we do level 2, just see what happens when you lift your ankles as high as your knees and draw the knees away from the body some, like maybe so that the knees can be over the hips. See how much heavier the legs are there than when you bring your knees in. Now for some people it's impossible to get their knees in towards their chest, so they're already working a lot harder. When your weight is further away from your center line, from your midline, whatever it is, legs or head or shoulders, it puts more strain on your core. So go ahead and let the knees come in close to the chest again if you're able to, and bring the knees over a little bit further to the left. You can open your arms out a little bit if you want to make more room and easier balance. So maybe halfway over to one side. And if that's too much, then you can return to that first level, which is about a quarter of the way. And come up through center and over to the other side. Use your core to support your lower back if you start to feel it arching. If you feel that your ribs are starting to pop out front, bring the knees up to center. That's level 1 and level 2. Now we'll go to level 3, which would be to bring the knees further away from the chest and the ankles as high as the knees. And as I said, that's pretty hard. The legs weigh a lot more, so we have to use more core. And you can bring the knees over about halfway if you want, or however far your body will allow. Use the leverage of the left arm pressing into the ground to keep you from rolling over too far. And then you're creating a contraction of that whole left side, and the right side kicks in too. The whole core is pretty much working here. And then bring the knees up through center and over to the other side. Whole core is working, but with an emphasis on the ribs. If you feel that any kind of pain in the middle lower back, contract your core. And bring the knees up to center. Lower the feet down. Bring the arms alongside the body. Contract the right buttock and just lift it up. So you roll over onto your left side a little bit. And then lower the right buttock down and contract just the left buttock and lift it up, and then you'll roll over to the right side a little bit. And release down. Contract both sides, pressing into the feet, lifting up into a little bit of a bridge. And lowering down. Bring the arms firmly alongside the body with the palms facing down, fingers spread wide and thumbs under the buttocks. That's just to give you extra strong spine. With the knees bent, come up on your tippy toes, and you can just be here, up on your tippy toes, or you can raise just the right foot as high as the right knee, and then lower it back down, and then raise the left foot up as high as the knee, and lower it down. This is toe taps, and alternate between right and left, slowly, checking your form. So especially your neck. Is your neck starting to peel away from the ground? Is your chin lifting up away from your throat? And can you lengthen and soften the neck a little bit? It's hard, I recognize that. And the same thing with your lower back. Is your lower back starting to peel away from the ground? And if so, try to get it back down there using your front core more. So we've done 2 on each side. You can continue to do that. You can continue to just be on your tippy toes, or you can do both legs at the same time, both feet at the same time, raising and lowering, taking a break whenever you need it, really hugging the core downwards, especially so that the ribs don't pop up. If you don't have that problem, then please contract the back and the front equally. So just a few more toe taps. The more you use the core, the less your hip flexors are going to hurt. And then relax the feet down, relax the arms away from your body a little bit. Do some pelvic rocks, just to ease out tension. Walk the feet to the outside edges of the mat. Open up the arms and wag the knees freely side to side in windshield wipers. Not necessarily fast, but as far over to each side as you want. It's kind of a nice massage on your back and your hips. I'm going to try to avoid doing a lot of gluteus medius today because we did so much yesterday that I've been My gluteus medius has been screaming. And bring the knees upright. Internally rotate your right leg so that the knee, the right knee, is facing towards the left thigh. It's not going to go all the way to the ground, I don't think. So you can just stay like this, or if you want to, you can put your left foot on the outside of your right thigh or the lower portion of your leg, creating a little bit more weight, but only do that if your hip is comfortable doing the internal rotation. Otherwise, just do an easy internal rotation. Again, is your back hyperarching? And if it is, can you contract the front muscles around your ribs just a little bit more so that you're not arching so much that you're going to possibly injure yourself? Release the left foot off of the right leg and upright the knees. And gently, gently wag the knees side to side a couple times. And when you're ready, upright both knees and internally rotate the whole left leg so that it's coming across the mat towards the right side. It's like doing pigeon toes with your knees. You can stay here. It's plenty of stretch, really. Or you can put your right foot on top of the outside of your left leg. But if you do, make sure that you don't have too much of an arch in your back. Breathe, relax. If your right foot's on top of the outside of the left leg, remove it and upright the knees. One at a time, bring the knees up to the chest or out more. It's up to you. The same thing that we did before, bring your knees over to the left, but this time bring them over all the way to the ground if you're able to. Still keep your right shoulder on the ground, and if you're not, grab your block that's supposed to be somewhere around you close by and put it on the outside of your left leg. And rest the outside of your left leg on the block if you want, or remove it. So just a gentle twist. If you want to deepen it a little bit, you can gaze to the right at your right hand, if that's okay with your neck. Bring the knees one at a time up, and then both knees over towards the right, either resting on the ground, hovering above the ground, or resting on a block. And you can put the block wherever it's comfortable. Breathe into your ribs. Make space where it feels like there isn't any. And bring the knees up one at a time. And hug them into your chest as close as you're able to. Rock side to side. Release the arms alongside the body and bring the legs up towards the sky using the core to support the weight of your legs. Flex and point the toes. Make as deep a range of motion as your ankles will allow. Pause for a second if you want in the flex to bring the toes down up towards the knees, and then pause in the point, trying to create as much as you can a point. Notice that it starts to get hard holding the legs up there. Don't give up. Circle your toes around your ankles. Use your core. Try to soften your neck. The neck is not part of the core, but it sure wants to be sometimes. Go in the other direction with the circles. And bring the knees into the chest. Bring the feet onto the ground. Wag the knees gently side to side. Very gently. Soften the jaw. Raise the legs up towards the sky again. Open the legs wide into a V. Bend and straighten the knees. Flex the feet if you can, so that when your knees are straight, you feel the length in the hamstrings and in the calves. Calves. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Keep them as straight as possible and bring your right heel in towards your groin or in towards your pelvic floor. And then change sides, straightening the right leg and bringing the left heel in towards the pelvic floor. You can hold on to it with your hand if you want. Straighten both legs into a V and bring them together. Lower the feet down and rest. Do a couple pelvic rocks. And let's roll over onto our bellies. Find Sphinx pose, resting on your elbows, pressing strong into your elbows. Will keep your shoulders away from your ears. Feel the shoulder blades sliding down the back. The neck is long, the chin is slightly in towards the throat. And relax down with the forehead on the back of your hand. Extend your arms at a V overhead, the legs at a V down below. Raise the right arm and the left leg up. Lower them down and tap the ground, and then lift them up again. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up and hold it. And release. Working the diagonal muscles between the shoulder and the hip. Raise the left arm up and the right leg. And tap down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up and hold it. Let the neck be soft. Kind of look straight down or almost straight down. Lower everything down. Bend your elbows. Rest your forehead on the backs of your hands. Extend your right arm out to the side, like straight out from your shoulder. Place your left hand on the ground and your elbows straight up. so that when you put pressure into your left hand, you know, you can sort of tip your body over. Bend your left knee, lift it up and lower it down. Lift the thigh up off the ground and lower it down. Okay, now we're going to lift it up and bring the left foot over to the right, rolling into the arm that's extended. Maybe your left foot can come onto the ground or onto the block, if you can find the block. And what we're doing is stretching the chest muscles and the arm muscles around your shoulder. If you can find a way to rest your head on the ground, that would be great. If this feels horrible because of a shoulder injury or something, then again, don't do it, or don't roll over very far, or imagine that you're doing it. Imagination will still help. And then roll to center, and we're going to change sides. So extend the left arm straight out to the side, palm down. Right hand is planted flat with the elbow up. Bend your right knee and lift it up and down a couple times just so you get the feeling of that motion. And then when you're ready, you can lift it up and twist over into the straight arm. And for some people, this is going to be just like the most luxurious thing you've ever done. And for some people, it's like, are you kidding me? So do, you know, what feels like it's the right thing for your body. Try to relax your head. And slowly come back to center. And bring your right arm to an angle. If we were on a clock, it might be about 1:30. So halfway between straight overhead and straight out to the side. Replant your left hand, bend your left leg, and twist into that arm, and it'll be harder. Probably. Slowly come to center and change sides. So now the left arm is at an angle, the right hand is planted with the elbow raised. You bend your right knee and lift the leg up and roll into your straight arm. Breathe. Where the tightest part is, imagine sending your breath to that part of your arm. Let the breath send some space. Come back to center and press up into tabletop. So we're on our hands and knees. The hands are straight down from the elbows, and the elbows are straight down from the shoulders. The knees are straight down from the hips, ideally, and hard to tell. Wag your hips to the right and look to the right, feeling the contraction in the right ribs. Move to the left side. Look at your hips. Go back to the first side. Inhale through center and go to the left side. And to center. We'll do a couple of cat-cows. So the first thing we're going to do is lift our tailbone up towards the sky. And when we do that, our ribs start to lower down. We get that arch in our back. Round the shoulders around, slide the shoulder blades down the back and feel the chest open up as you maybe lift your chin a little bit away from your throat if that's okay with your neck. Then we're going to begin or lead with our tailbone, tucking our tailbone down towards the ground. Automatically means creasing at the waist, lifting the back ribs up, shoulders automatically start to round forward, and the head starts to drop. And move between those two, leading with the tailbone. You don't have to. I just like the wave that it creates. Thinking of the wave, I think, helps with the flexibility of the spine. Inhaling when you're in cow pose, which is with your tailbone up, and exhaling when you create the crease in your waist, which pushes the air out. You can continue doing this, or you can sit back on your heels into child's pose with your arms way out front. If you're doing this version, try to lower your elbows down to the ground and scoop your chest low. And when you can't come forward anymore, press into your hands and raise up into cow pose. Does that make sense? You can watch me if you don't understand. So I'm lowering my forearms down, scooping my chest down, keeping the chest down as long as I can. And then when I can't anymore, which for me is right here, I start to press into my arms. And it's a good upper arm workout as well, just a little bit harder. Or you can just stay at cat-cow for a couple more times. Those who want to experiment can do this. And then the child's pose is like cat pose. It's rounding the back. And then come up on all fours again and relax here for a second. Breathe. Extend the right leg back. Internally rotate it so that the knee is facing down, and then check your left hip, your standing hip, and make sure that it isn't leaning out to the side. Bring it in. You can stay here and just hang out, or you can raise your right leg up as high as the hip. You can stay here, or you can bring your right knee to the outside of your right elbow and hold it there and extend it back. For those of you that are staying there, just stay there. Bring your right knee in towards the inside of your left elbow. Hold it there and extend it back. Inhale here, exhale as you bring your knee right through to the center and bring your nose towards your knee. And inhale back. Lower the leg down. Sit back, either in child's pose or hero's pose, and take some weight off of your wrists. Work them out. And your elbows. Do whatever feels good to your wrists. And when you're ready, come back and we'll do the other side. We sure don't want to be uneven. Extend your left leg back with the knee facing down. Check your right hip to make sure it isn't jutting out to the side. You can stay here. This is fine. Or you can lift the left leg up and stay there. Or you can just go from lifting to lowering. Or you can bring your left knee to the outside of your left elbow and hold it there for a tiny bit of time. And then extend it back. And exhale as you bring it to the inside of your right elbow. and inhale back. And exhale and bring the knee to the nose and the nose to the knee. And inhale back. Lower the leg down and sit back into child's pose or puppy pose. Work out your wrists and your fingers, your elbows. And we're going to come to standing pose, and you can either just come to standing the way you want to or through downward facing dog. If you're in downward facing dog, if you want to, walk your hands out, turn your toes under and straighten your knees. Readjust where your feet are and pedal them to stretch out the backs of the legs. The more you bring your shoulders back, the better the alignment will be. Relax your neck and head. And then walk your hands and your feet towards each other. Or just be in standing. Grab your chair. And your block. And have your ball nearby. May as well do our feet too, right? So you can have your block wherever it feels right to you. There's actually 3 sizes to the block. So it's up to you how wide you want your legs apart. And Jessica needs a chair.
No more chairs.
There's chairs. There's always more chairs.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So find yourself sitting on the front third of the chair with the block in between your legs. Just squeeze the block a little bit and release. Feel the sitting bones. Rock across the sitting bones. Do a little pelvic rocks if you can figure out how to do that. Excuse me. So that you can get a sense of where your sitting bones are, and then balance on them and grow tall out of them. Imagine that your head is hanging on a Christmas tree, like a Christmas tree ornament, and the hook is right there at the rounded part of your occipital bone back there. And when you hang your head, the whole neck lengthens, the chin comes down and in, and the spine gets long. The shoulders just kind of hang there like spaghetti. And then raise the arms up and squeeze the block, hinge at the hips, and begin to peel your buttocks off of the chair. And once you're up off of the chair, shift the weight back, squeeze into the block. Turn your toes in towards each other just a tiny bit. And slowly straighten the knees and unhinge at the hips. And come back down, hinging and sending the buttocks out back. Reaching your tailbone for the back of the chair. Slowly coming down. Tap the chair and stand up. All the way up. Come down, tap the chair if you're able to. Just feel it on the backs of your thighs, and then try to stand up. Who is out there? And one more time it will come down. And lower the arms, remove the block. You aren't going to do any more of that today. come to standing. You can turn your chair to the side to hang on to if you want. We did this not too long ago, but I don't think we did it when we had a video of it. So take a foot, any foot, and start with around the big toe and press or roll and work your way from the toe to the heel, and you'll probably find some sore spots. And you can go as much towards the arch as you can. If you find a sore spot, pause there, work it out, or try to work it out. Wow. You found it. I found it too. And then when you're ready, you can go to the center. And to the outside. Just roll the ball all around your foot. Yay! Excruciating pain, huh? And change side. Well, compare, because I think it's really interesting to compare. And then change sides. Compare feet. Are the same places sore on each foot? Same kind of sore, a different kind of sore? Probably wouldn't hurt to do this every day. So this is particularly good for people who have bunions and people who have plantar fasciitis. And I would assume that it's also good if you don't have that and don't want to have it. And then roll all around. And move the ball off to the side. Wow. Stand for a second, feel the feet. Okay. Darn it. I hate it when I had it in my mind what I was going to do. Oh well, it doesn't matter. We'll do something else. Let's find balancing poses. You can use the chair if you want. Just, if I say right, then just make it the foot that's opposite the chair if you're going to lean into the chair. So find your standing leg. Press strong into your standing leg. Let the hip be long and strong and extend the free leg out to the side. Raise your arms overhead. And lean a little bit away from the leg that's extended out to the side so that you're in one line from the fingertips all the way to the toes. You can stay here or you can try to actually lift that foot up off the ground. Don't do what I did. And again, you can hang on to the chair if you want. So now take the arm of the leg that's extended and lower it down to the leg that's extended. And bring it back up again. And then the other arm down to the standing leg. And up. And then both arms down. And you're like a badminton birdie, flying through the air. And bring both up. I remember. And down and relax. Shake it out. And extend your other leg. Make your standing leg long. Yep, change the chair around if you want to. Bringing both arms overhead. You can lean to one side away from the extended leg and stay here if you want, or make it a balancing pose by lifting the free leg up, lowering the arm of the leg that's up off of the ground, and back up. And then the other arm down to your standing leg. And up. And then both arms down, flying through the air. And up. And release. Shake your legs out. And grab your blanket. Bring the chair to the top of the mat so that the back of the chair is facing your body. And roll your blanket. First of all, have it about like this. And roll your blanket about half. And you can always increase, I guess, have the blanket facing your body, the free part of your blanket. You didn't get a blanket?
Oh, are they? Here's a green one. Oh, great.
One more?
These people make mine too fun.
It's all right. I have some up above. Okay, Kathy has one, and I'll get one. Thank you. Get my steps in today. And we're going to put our toes on the blanket and our heels off of the blanket and stretch the back. So if it's easy for you, if you have enough flexibility in your ankles that it's easy to stand up this way and you want more of a challenge, you just roll the blanket a little bit more so that your toes have to be higher. And it also has to do with the thickness, the density of your wall. Okay, so some people can't stand up straight because there's not enough flexation in their ankles to get their toes up that high. But try to stand up straight. Draw your shoulder blades slightly down the back and your chin in towards your throat. You might find that you have to firm up the muscles around your ribs and bring your pelvis forward just a tiny bit. If you feel like you can, bring your arms overhead. Very good. Lower the arms down. And release. Good calf stretcher. Sit blanket off to the side. Step away from the chair. Stack your hands at your sacrum in the back. And find upright posture of mountain pose, pressing strong into your feet. Legs are long. There's space in your hip sockets as your spine floats up and your legs are pressing down. The neck is long, the chin is down towards the throat. Inhale both arms up and look up. Bring your head back to normal and twist to the right, opening the arms up. Inhale the arms to center. Exhale and twist to the left. Inhale the arms up. And do a half of a forward bend or less. So try to keep your back straight. The neck long, bring your hands all the way around back and stack them at your sacrum. Oops. And circle, sweep the arms up again and reach tall. And twist one more time. Bring the arms open. Inhale through center. Exhale and twist to the other side. Inhale to center. Exhale and do half of a forward fold. Bring the arms around back, stacking the hands on the sacrum, lengthening the neck, looking straight down. Inhale up, and we gotta come down. So make some shade for yourself if you want it. I think we started late, didn't we?
Yep.
We had a lot of things going on today. Find your way down to seated. If you want to come through squat pose, that would be great. If you're in squat pose, you can press your elbows in. Somebody who has not come this whole season, which is okay, said that when she used to come, what she most appreciated was learning to squat. So, or learning the importance of squatting, which a lot of us have kind of lost the skill of doing. And once you can't actually do the skill, but the bones calcify in such a way that you can't squat anymore. But if you can, yeah, it's really a valuable thing. There's so many different ways. Find yourself down on the back, with your knees into the chest, arms out wide. Just rock your knees side to side along your sacrum. And then come into a twist, knees over to one side, keeping the back shoulder on the ground if you can. Bring the knees up to center one at a time and twist to the other side. Try to keep your neck soft and your jaw soft. Breathe deeply into the ribs. Bring one knee up at a time. Move into happy baby pose, so either your hands can rest on the undersides of your thighs, drawing your knees wide, or you can slide your hands up the outside of your legs and grab onto the outsides of your feet, or you can encircle your big toes with your index finger and thumb. And wherever you are, rock side to side and feel that gentle massage of the hips and the back, all the way from the sacrum through the shoulders. We're also massaging some of the organs on the inside of our body. Let the head roll too. Feel the gentle massage in the cranium. Come to center. Bring your feet almost together up towards the sky with the knees softly bent. Bring your arms almost together, facing up towards the sky, but with limp wrists and limp elbows. Begin to tick-tock your feet side to side, about 6 inches from center to one side, and then through center and 6 inches to the other side. So you're rolling across your sacrum now. Then have your arms go in the opposite direction of your feet. Hands and arms go in opposition, so you're doing a little bit of a twist. Let your head go in the same direction as your feet. And your eyes in the same direction as your hands. And if you want to give yourself an extra challenge, let your tongue follow your feet. And when you're ready, float the feet down behind the sitting bones, the arms down alongside the body. Lengthen one leg long at a time. Make your right leg longer. Release it and make your left leg longer. And release it back to normal. And we're going to repeat that, and I'd like you to really watch the connectivity that the myofascial tissue creates in our bodies. So when we lengthen the right leg, we can feel it in our left ribs, in our shoulders. For me, my head rolls to the right as my neck contracts. And then release that and feel your head come back to center and make your left leg longer. And feel the contraction of the right ribs. Feel it in the shoulders. Feel it in the neck and the head. And then release back to center. That's the miracle of your body. Give yourself a hug. Rock from shoulder blade to shoulder blade once again, watching how the muscles ignite clear across the back, across the ribs, the chest, the hips, and into the legs to make that little tiny rock of your chest happen. Release your arms and change sides so that you're hugging with the other arm on top, and do just a little bit of rocking, and then let the arms float down. Make fists with both your fingers and your toes. Just squeeze everything. Squeeze every muscle of the body that you can find. The neck, the shoulders, the belly, buttocks, thighs, calves. Slowly release everything. Let it float down. And relax into Shavasana. cover your head.
They're heavy, yeah, it's getting looser.
Let's chant our final 3 ohms together. Inhale deeply. Exhale. And inhale, sending out vibration, peace, harmony, and well-being. The light and the love within me recognizes and honors the light and the love within me. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you. Namaste. Have a great weekend.
All the pelicans came to say goodbye.
Wow. They did. Thank you, Pelican. Powerful. A little bit of paperwork. No, let's see if we can.
And everybody, remember tomorrow at Tech-A-Lie, there's a wonderful art show from the Art League from 9 to 3.
There we go.